Hi, and welcome to Notescraft. Today we will talk about The Language of Paradox by Cleanth Brooks. Ever wondered why paradoxes are so prevalent in literature? Why do authors use them? A paradox is a statement or concept that contains conflicting ideas. In logic, it's a statement that contradicts itself. For example, this statement is false. But in literature, paradoxes are less about impossible loops of logic and more about profound truths. They are the literary devices that allow writers to express the complexity of life, the multitudes of human emotions, and the nuanced truths of existence. Paradoxes are not just mere wordplay, they are tools of revelation. They help us, as readers, to see beyond the surface of things, to understand that reality is not always as it seems. They force us to question, to ponder, and ultimately to understand the world in a deeper and more nuanced way. One literary scholar who turned the spotlight on paradoxes is Cleanth Brooks. He saw paradox not as a stylistic quirk or a logical conundrum, but as the language of poetry itself. According to Brooks, paradox is the vehicle of truth. It's the way in which the complexities of reality, the contradictions of human experience, and the mysteries of the universe can be captured in words. Brooks's work is a tribute to the power of paradox in literature. He argued that it is through embracing contradiction, not avoiding it, that we come closer to the truth. He saw paradox as a way of revealing the complexity and richness of life, of showing that the world is not black and white, but a spectrum of colors. So why are paradoxes so prevalent in literature? The answer is simple. They allow authors to express complex truths in a way that is both profound and accessible. They are the keys that unlock the deeper meanings in a text, the bridges that connect the world of the author with the world of the reader. To truly grasp the essence of literature, understanding paradoxes is a must. So let's dive deeper into this fascinating topic as we explore paradoxes through the lens of Cleanth Brooks. Because literature, like life, is full of beautiful contradictions. Cleanth Brooks, a notable literary critic, shed light on the language of paradox in a unique way. His vision of paradoxes moved far beyond the common perception of them as mere riddles or contradictions. For Brooks, paradoxes were the very lifeblood of poetry, the structural elements that imbued it with a depth and richness that made literature a mirror to the complexity of human experience. Brooks's perspective on paradoxes was revolutionary. He viewed them not as decorative adornments but as integral to the very structure of poetry. Paradoxes, according to Brooks, were the warp and weft that gave poetry its texture, its richness, and its ability to reflect the complexity and ambiguity of life. To understand Brooks' perspective, let's delve into his work. One of his most famous analyses revolves around the Shakespearean sonnet, "Batter my heart, three-personed God." Here, the paradox lies in the plea for violence as a means of salvation. It is through this paradox that the sonnet gains its emotional intensity and its profound exploration of the human struggle between the divine and the mortal. Brooks believed that paradoxes enhanced the richness of literature by revealing the underlying tensions and complexities. They allow poetry to go beyond a simple linear narrative and delve into the contradictory aspects of human experience. By doing so, they create a multi-layered reality that reflects the true nature of human life. Another example from Brooks's work that beautifully illustrates his view is his analysis of the poem "The Canonization" by John Donne. Here, Brooks highlights the paradoxical idea of love as both a destructive and a constructive force. This paradox is not just an ornamental element, it forms the structural backbone of the poem, providing a deeper understanding of the nature of love. The paradoxes in these poems are not meant to confuse or befuddle, rather, they are there to reveal, to illuminate, to deepen our understanding. They allow us to see the world in all its complexity, its contradictions, its ambiguity. They allow us to see the world not as a flat, one-dimensional plane, but as a rich, multi-dimensional sphere, full of paradoxes and complexities. For Brooks, then, paradoxes were more than just literary devices. They were tools for revealing the complexity of human experience. They were the keys that unlocked the true richness of literature, allowing it to reflect the world in all its multifaceted complexity. Brooks' perspective on paradoxes is a testament to his deep understanding of the power of literature. It reminds us that literature is not just about telling stories, it's about exploring the depths of human experience, about revealing the complexities that lie beneath the surface of our lives. Indeed, for Brooks, paradoxes were not just about creating mystery, but about revealing the complexity of human experience. Now that we've understood Brooks's take on paradoxes, let's delve into some examples. The first example of a paradox in Brooks's work that we'll look at is his concept of the well-wrought urn. This term refers to a poem that achieves unity through the resolution of paradoxes. By calling a poem an urn, Brooks paradoxically imbues it with physicality, despite it being an intangible construct. This paradox adds a layer of complexity to our understanding of poetry, highlighting its ability to contain and preserve emotions and ideas, much like an urn holds ashes. Moving on, another fascinating paradox that Brooks explores is the dichotomy of death and life. In many of his works, death is paradoxically portrayed as a form of life. For instance, in his analysis of John Donne's poetry, Brooks points out the paradoxical statement, "Death, thou shalt die." Here, death, which is the end of life, is given a life of its own only to be threatened with death. This paradoxical understanding of death adds depth to our comprehension of the inevitable end of life. Finally, Brooks's concept of the heresy of paraphrase is in itself a paradox. He argues that the meaning of a poem cannot be paraphrased without losing its essence. Yet in making this argument, Brooks is paradoxically paraphrasing the very essence of poetry. This paradox underscores the complexity and uniqueness of poetic language, further emphasizing Brooks's belief in the indispensable role of paradoxes in literature. So what do these paradoxes tell us? They serve to deepen our understanding of the text, enriching our interpretation by introducing new layers of meaning. They embody Brooks's belief that paradoxes are not mere linguistic tricks but fundamental tools used to express complex and often contradictory truths about our world. They remind us that literature, much like life itself, thrives on complexity and contradiction. These examples illustrate the profound impact paradoxes can have on our interpretation and understanding of a text. We've explored what paradoxes are, how Brooks viewed them, and seen them in action. But why does this matter? It matters because paradoxes add a level of complexity and richness to literature that is otherwise unattainable. They challenge our thinking, forcing us to look beyond the literal and delve into the symbolic and abstract. When we encounter a paradox, we're compelled to pause, to ponder, to question. It's an invitation to engage more deeply with the text, to wrestle with its inherent contradictions and ambiguities. Think about it. When we read a line like "less is more," we're not just reading words on a page. We're participating in a mental exercise, a sort of literary gymnastics that stretches our cognitive muscles. We're forced to reconcile two opposing ideas, less and more, and in doing so, we're confronted with a profound truth about the nature of excess and simplicity. That's the beauty of paradoxes. They're not just clever wordplay, they're vehicles for truth, delivering insights in a way that is both striking and memorable. They add depth to a text, imbuing it with layers of meaning that can be peeled back and explored. And let's not forget the aesthetic appeal of paradoxes. Their unexpectedness, their ability to surprise, adds a dash of intrigue to a text. They can turn a simple sentence into a riddle, a puzzle to be solved, making the reading experience more interactive and engaging. But perhaps most importantly, paradoxes reflect the complexity of the human experience. Life is full of contradictions and paradoxes, and literature as a mirror of life should be too. So, when we understand and appreciate paradoxes, we're not just becoming better readers, we're becoming more perceptive observers of life. We're learning to appreciate the complexities, the contradictions, the beautiful messiness of being human. In the end, the power of paradoxes lies in their ability to enrich our understanding of literature and the human experience. As Brooks so eloquently put it, The language of paradox is the language of poetry. Thank you for watching. Check out our website for more info and PDF study materials. Please like and share our video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel for more updates. Comment down what you want us to post about next.